Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the X Factor podcast. And today we're going to be going through the X Factor Wrestling Awards from the 2023 year. And you already know what we have to do. We're going to go through all my awards that I have wrote down. We're going to go through the nominees, and we're going to try to. And I'm going to tell you who won and tell you why I think they won that award. But also remember to subscribe to my YouTube, X Factor Sports, X Factor Podcast. Always remember to follow the Twitter X Factor Sports with two S's at the end, and then or just look up Olis. It'll be right there. Also, look up also X Factor Sports for 20 for my TikTok. So we're gonna start well off here today and start off with the first award of the night. Best promotion, and it's pretty much just the best promotion. Whoever's done great all year and has had consistency through the whole year. And your nominees are WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. And your winner for the X Factor Wrestling's best promotion of the year goes to WWE. They have been very strong throughout the entire year. There was a little stint where they were a little off, but then once the sale went through in September, they're just been better ever since. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with Triple H being in the creative side of things and Vince not being much of inside with it anymore. Because if you watch WWE Weekly, you can see every other week there was like something coming out like Vince changed this or someone changed that, and it was very frustrating as a fan because you wanted to see something or you wanted to watch something, and it's like, okay, well, they're not having it this week or whatever. They took it off their plans, and it'd be very frustrating. So knowing that Triple H has his people ready to go, ever since the sale, they have been very strong, and I feel like this year could be their best year. Like this past year, I thought this was their best year since 2016. But this year has the potential to be better than a lot of the years during the Ruthless Aggression era, and has a good potential chance to be better than some of the Attitude Era. But anything could be better than the Attitude Era. Just saying. AEW Impact. On a good day, I'm picking Impact over AEW. I'm sorry. And in New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I did not watch a lot last year, but going into this year, I'm getting into some more of it. So hopefully next year I'll have a good more information instinct on to talk about with them. Next award, your best show, and your nominees for that is SmackDown, Raw, Dynamite, and NXT. And your best show for 2023 is none other than NXT. NXT is another show that has been very consistent every week, and I feel like the main thing for that is because of every match means something, in my opinion. Every match is supposed to mean something, but in Raw and SmackDown, some of those matches don't really mean nothing. In NXT, you're fighting pretty much for your job every week, because if a WWE star goes down on the roster, they can just show up on NXT and be good. But if you're in NXT, if you're going down the hook, you're getting released. That's just how it is. So that's just how I see it with NXT. And also, the storylines NXT has been able to produce this year with Ilya Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes, Dijak, Eddie Thorpe, Dijak Wesley. Some of the best matches this year has been through NXT. And I feel like it should get talked enough more. And even though it is still a developmental brand, it is still the best weekly show every week throughout this past year. And I feel like this year they have a chance to be better than last year's shows. And then SmackDown and Raw, I feel like Raw and SmackDown, and I said this with WWE in general, I said that there was a little stint where they were doing very well, but then Vince came in and kind of ruined things. The Raw has been very solid, but they also had their worst show ever on the night after WrestleMania. And then Dynamite, a lot of it felt like it was just a bunch of random matches sitting there for no reason, or and yes, the matches were good, but you need some storyline sense coming into them, and some of them did not have that until the end of the year. But so that's that. And then on from best show, we're gonna go on from best pay-per-view, best pretty much best pay-per-view. What was the best pay-per-view of the year? And your nominees for these are only 3 nominees. You have All Out, you have WrestleMania Night 1, and Forbidden Door. And your winner for WWE or X Factor Wrestling's best pay-per-view is WrestleMania Night 1 in Los Angeles. And I think the main thing for it is just every match on there was really good. They made a 4-way match look good in 8 minutes. That was probably the best 8 minutes match, best 8 minute match I've ever seen in my lifetime. And then even going through this show and then Sammy and Kevin main eventing, some of the best storytelling you could even put out there. And then Rhea and Charlotte, and the way that match went, some of the best matches I have seen through this year have came through that night 1. And All Out, I put this particularly on there because of how they're being able to battle through the adversity with the stuff with Punk and all this, and then all of them coming together and having a great show, and that's what they did. And Forbidden Door, that was mainly because they had some of the 2 best matches this year with Okada and Danielson, plus Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. So that were 2 of the things that really stuck out for me on that one. So all right, we're going on to the best booker, and I'm not really going to put much detail into this one because of how the other awards have went out. Your nominees are Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Tony Khan, and your booker of the year is Triple H. And the main thing is for Triple H is through the adversity stuff dealing with Vince has really, and plus still being able to put on consistent good shows is mind-boggling. You got to fight with Vince to get your show going. And Triple H is running 2 shows having to deal with that. And then once he was able to let the wings go, he just been full force with that. So that is, and plus his storylines have been really good as well. He builds them up and not rushes nothing with it. So there's that. And Shawn Michaels and Tony Khan are in second and third. Best heel, your nominees are Bully Ray, Christian Cage, Dominic Mysterio, and Judgment Day. And your best heel for 2023 is Bully Ray. And this is not even really close in my opinion. Christian Cage and Dom have been really good heels this past year. But Dominic, in my opinion, he's improved a lot. He has not had the most intense stuff like Christian or Bully Ray has had. Bully Ray, he has been intense. He's been crazy all year as being a heel. And when he comes out, you don't get nothing but boos. Dominic, you get the same thing, but you still have some of those fans. When you're watching Impact, who's going to sit there and say, oh, yes, I like Bully Ray? Not many people will. But even though Bully Ray is a legend, he gets the good reaction that a lot of heels should get. And Dominic, he gets that same reaction in a sense, but he needs to go over the edge on everything next year if he wants to be up for the best heel. And Christian Cage, this last part of the year he's up the ranks for me. And the stuff with Edge has really gotten me onto there. And Judgment Day as a whole has been like that all year. And so there's your best heel award. And the best babyface, your nominees are Cody Rhodes, Trick Williams, Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso. And your winner for the X Factor Wrestling Awards is Cody Rhodes. And I don't even think it's that much close either. Cody Rhodes is the John Cena of this generation, I feel. Trick Williams has become so over that he's getting more over than some of the major stars in WWE or on the main roster. Plus, he's been over than some of the main guys in NXT. Hell, I can even say he's more over than some of the guys in AEW, and that's just from a 6 month time span for him, and I think that's very impressive. Sami Zayn and Jay, they have been, they have just been like that since they made the push to be a babyface. And when some heels go from a babyface, it takes a little bit of a change for them to get that cheer. But for Jay, it was right instant right there. Sami Zayn, it was right instant right there because he was the most beloved character in the Bloodline storyline. So they got my vote. And plus, having Sami Zayn and Kevin get back together was a very good moment this past year, too. Best feud. Your nominees are the Bloodline storyline, MJF versus Bryan Danielson, the Devil storyline, and Roman versus Cody Rhodes. And your winner for Best Feud of the Year goes to the Bloodline storyline with Roman and Solo versus Jay and Jimmy Uso. And like I said, I feel like that's another one that's not even close to some of the ones that are on this list because every week you knew something was going down. Every week you knew you were getting something good. And I'm not saying for the other ones it wasn't like that, but you could get like those goosebumps. You can get those chills in the back of your neck feeling those moments. And those are the good moments. Those are the times you feel like this is changing something. This is a game-changing moment. The Bloodline Civil War, a game-changing moment. Roman got pinned for the first time in 3 years. And yes, the match with Jay and Roman is a disappointment as it was. The build-up all to that point was nothing but substantial and amazing. So that was just a clear-cut one for me. MJF and Bryan Danielson also up there with the Devil storyline, and a lot of people crapped on it. I feel like it was one of the best storylines this year, and I feel like a lot of it has to go with the payoff at the end with Adam Cole portraying himself. And every week you got another one of those little hints that it was going to happen, but no one's seen it because they just want to crap on everything. And then Roman versus Cody, his is mainly because of the finish of the story. So they're your best feud of the year. Your best moments of the year. Your nominees are CM Punk returns, Randy Orton returns, Cody Rhodes wins the Rumble, and Eddie Kingston wins the Continental Classic. And your winner for best moment of the year goes to CM Punk's return. And it's another one that's not really that close. He came back after 10 years. And it was just a very good moment. And nobody really thought what his future was going to be. And he came back and was able to do what he wanted to do and make everything right with everyone in WWE. Randy, it was good to see him come back after his back injury. A lot of people thought he was going to retire. And so seeing him back in the ring and look better than what he was before, good thing to see. And Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble, that was mainly with the tricep injury, and then plus with the storyline afterwards, it feels like a very good moment. And then Eddie Kingston being like all of his New Japan heroes, being a Triple Crown champion, and that's what got my vote for that one. Best manager, your nominees are Paul Heyman, Prince Nana, Don Callis, and Mark Sterling. And your winner for best heel or best manager of the year goes to Prince Nana. And he has been the substantial part on why Swerve Strickland has been up in his run so far. And he's single-handedly turned Strickland to a heel to where there's a chance where they might turn him babyface and become one of the best babyfaces of the company. And might be the first AEW Black champion, world champion. So that has to be a huge part in it. Plus, Paul Heyman, stuff with the Roman, don't really got to go much detail there. Don Callis, I feel like there's some improvements that can go there, but as a heel manager, he's done some of his best work with Kenny, and I feel like it's going to hopefully do better in 2024. And then Mark Sterling, a little bit of a shock there coming with Mark Sterling, but if you watch Ring of Honor, you know that he is one of the underrated managers here in wrestling, and he needs to get talked about more. We're going to Best Commentator, and we're going to nominees here, Ian Riccaboni, Nigel McGuinness, Michael Cole, and Wade Barrett are your nominees. And your winner for Best Manager of the Year goes to Michael Cole. And Michael Cole has, like I said, the last couple years has had his best work. Um, so that's one of the things that got in there. But Nigel, Ian Riccaboni have done some really good stuff on Collision, and Ian Riccaboni with Ring of Honor, and then Wade Barrett has done a really good job with being with Michael Cole on Raw. So there's your best commentator of the year. All right, now we're gonna get into it here with the best faction, and your nominees are the acclaimed Judgment Day, House of Black, and Bloodline, and your winner for the 2023 Best Faction Award goes to the Judgment Day, as they have been dominant all year. And I'm not saying that these other teams have, but Judgment Day has been on a whole nother level since the summer. And you could say, quote unquote, it's the summer of the Judgment Day with Dominic Mysterio becoming North American Champion, plus Judgment Day getting the tag titles, and Rhea also having the Women's World Championship has a big part of that. House of Black, I feel like some of their best work is going on right now in the last couple of months. They were also the Trios champions, and they had a good substantial run there, making the House of Black rules stuff for their matches. The Acclaimed, they really got my vote in the start of the summer when they started becoming a Trios team, and going out to the Trios titles. And the Bloodline, it's a lot of a Roman thing more than is anything. So there's your best faction. Now get on to your best tag team of the year, where your nominees are Kevin and Sami Zayn, Judgment Day, the Creed Brothers, and FTR. And your winner for X Factor's tag team of the year goes to FTR. They have had, I think, some of the best tag matches just this past year. And if I had this going on last year, they would have been my pick for 2022 as well, also with the Briscoes. They are easily the best tag team over anyone, and it's not even close. You can say a name. They're better than them. You can say a name right now. They've probably beaten them, and they're better than them. And some of their best work has been through this year, even though they held a lot of the championships in 2022, they became AEW champions in 2023. So going into this next award is the most underrated, where it is someone who should get talked about more and who should get the big run going into 2024. And your nominees are Daniel Garcia, Chad Gable, Brody King, and Eddie Thorpe from NXT. And your winner for most underrated goes to Brody King. And I feel that Brody King has really helped himself with the Continental Classic. Also, with Daniel Garcia with the Continental Classic, they have helped themselves raise the bar for themselves. Chad Gable, I feel like, is a guy who's always been underrated, who's never had that big run. And I feel like 2024 could be that big year for him. And Eddie Thorpe is a guy, I feel like he should be in the mid-card or main event level already, and he's just been sitting right in the middle of the mid-card to what do I do with him next, because he just got done with a good rivalry with Dijak. And so going into what I would call the Eddie Thorpe era, potentially, he could be a guy you could probably see win an NXT title next year, maybe the year after that. So those are some guys you should talk about more, and hopefully get a big push in 2024. And then your best breakout star is someone who was not as good last year, or who was not as good in 2022, but fixed themselves in 2023. And your nominees are Daniel Garcia, Julia Hart, Trick Williams, and LA Knight. And your breakout star of the year goes to LA Knight, and it's not even close. He was in the Maximum Male Models, and it was very bad gimmick, very bad stuff. Goes back to LA Knight. He already gets 2 World Championship opportunities. You can't say nothing better than that. Trick Williams, he's going after the NXT title. He was already a North American champion, even though it was for 3 days. Still won it. He is one of the most over guys in wrestling. Julia Hart, best moonsault in wrestling right now, one of the best entrances in wrestling right now, part of one of the best factions right now, one of the best women wrestlers in AEW right now. And last year you probably wouldn't be saying all that, or the year before you probably wouldn't be saying all that. But this year, this now she's the TBS champion. So now you could finally see that she is now in her own era as herself, and not even needing House of Black to do her dirty work. So, and then Daniel Garcia, who, in my opinion, he did well in 2022, and at the end of 2022, but 2023, he started doing the hip thrust stuff and all that, and a lot of people don't like it. But if you don't like it, I just think you're just hating for no reason, because it's getting over. If it's getting over and the crowd reaction likes it, that's all you can really ask for. And so that's all I can really say about it. But your Women's Wrestler of the Year, the nominees are Io Sky, Charity Fatu, Athena, Becky Lynch, and Rhea. And your Women's Wrestler of the Year goes to Athena, who has single-handedly changed Ring of Honor, in my opinion. And she is becoming the best Ring of Honor Women's Champion ever. She's main evented 2 Ring of Honor pay-per-views. Before that, no one's ever main evented a pay-per-view as a women's superstar or a women's wrestler. And she's done that twice in a row. No one's ever going to do it, in my opinion, for Ring of Honor except for her. And in my opinion, if you're a women's wrestler in Ring of Honor, you ask to get a match with her, boom, you're getting on the spot. Io Sky, who has helped put herself on the map with the championship, and plus even though being overshadowed by Bianca and Charlotte and all that, she has still been able to keep herself at a good pace going into 2024. And Trady Fatu, she's up there for many reasons. She is the Knockouts Women's Champion. Her first World Championship since 2017. And she is making herself better through the Knockouts division than what she ever did in WWE. Becky and Rhea, I feel like she could be up on this list, but a lot of her championship run has been run through dominating people and not really helping people get up on the roster. I feel like the only time she ever did that was against Ivy Nile this past week on Raw. So, even though she's the best champion or the best dominant champion, we need to see her level up some of these people, elevate some of these people to their best potential. And then Becky, she's had some of the best women matches this year, so you can't really hate on it. And she had one of the best women wrestling matches this year with Trish Stratus, so also you can't hate on it. So your 2023 Women's of the Year, Wrestler of the Year is Athena. Alright, we're going to get right into here with the Male Wrestler of the Year, and your nominees are Will Ospreay, MJF, and Bryan Danielson, and your winner is Will Ospreay. He's been able to have good matches throughout the entire year. And also, another big thing, he had a great match with Chris Jericho, who was at the lowest of lows. So I feel like, with all that, the great matches to the G1, Kenny, and all that, he gets that award. So, congratulations to Will Ospreay. Best tag match of the year, FTR versus Bullet Club Gold, 2 out of 3 falls. Usos versus the Bloodline, FTR versus Bullet Club Gold in the first one, and your winner is FTR versus Bullet Club Gold, 2 out of 3 falls. And throughout that 58 minutes, I have never seen something better than that, except for the Briscoe matches that they've had. So that was a clear-cut number 1 choice for me. Women's match of the year, we're down to the finals are Io Sky versus Bianca, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea, Becky versus Trish, Athena versus Willow Nightingale, and your winner is Charlotte Flair versus Rhea. All of them were great matches, but Charlotte and Rhea really topped it all with WrestleMania, and it just hasn't been close. These two matches were the best matches for them this year, so I feel like it was very close for them to really take that in. And even though they weren't in the main event of night 1, they should get that accomplishment. And then your male match of the year, or best match of the year, your nominees are Kenny versus Will at Forbidden Door, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom, MJF versus Bryan Danielson, and your winner is Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door. All three matches were really good. One of the best Wrestle Kingdom matches I've ever seen. One of the best AEW matches I've ever seen. Plus, one of the best Iron Man matches I've ever seen. So, out of all that, if you want to put which one was the best tactical one, Danielson and MJF, best tactical wrestling match. But Kenny and Will, they came out and they just, through 40 minutes, they were just killing each other. And I feel like that is what really clear cut for them to get that award. And it was the same thing for Flair and Rhea. They went, it was, and Charlotte Flair, you see a lot of Ric Flair and her in some of those big matches because she can go in those big matches just like Rick. So there's your 2023 X Factor Wrestling Awards. Y'all stay blessed. Follow the socials. Have a good new year. Let me know what your New Year's resolution is like. And have a good night.